Hi, namaste, nice to meet you. I'm Robin.
Yes.
I'm a survivalist instructor. So that means I bring people to jungle, mountainside, forest, and I teach them what you should do to be prepared for a survival situation, what you should put in your bag, and what is the things you should do and the things you should not do, so you don't put yourself in danger. So I was invited today by Ubisoft to tell you a little bit more about survival and to make you play a little game. All right? So just to give a proper introduction to the context, I have to say that today there is two different kinds of survival schools, let's say. One is about survivalism. So nowadays we say survivalism is about being prepared for the great outdoor. So the people who do this are most of the time sport specialists, people who want adventure, extreme encounter. And then the second school is prepping. So you've heard about this from Michael Mills this morning. So it's all about being ready for a catastrophe or a disaster that's going to happen in the near future. So it's all about hoarding and gathering information, skills, food, water, and everything Michael was talking about this morning. So today we're not going to talk so much about prepping, but more about proper survival, like outdoor survival. Do you have any question about survival before we play the little game?
What should I know?
All right, maybe I give you just a few tips. First of all, for me, survival is about knowing what you are going to be confronted to. So it's a very different situation if you're in an urban environment. So if an earthquake happen or a tsunami happen in your city, then you have people around you. You have tools that are ready to grab all around you. If you go very often in deep wilderness, then that's another story, because what you're going to be confronted to is going to be a different kind of threat, and you need to have a different preparation. So first of all is you need to know what you're preparing for. That's the first rule. Then second one is it's more in the skills than in the tools. If you have a fire kit but you don't know how to use it, you're not going to have fire. Tools doesn't make a good survival guy. It's the skills first, right? And then the second thing is you never know when you're going to be in a survival situation, so it's best to always carry a minimum set of tools. So in survival we call them the EDC and the BOB. The EDC is your everyday carry, which means you have a small bag with you every day of your life. You need to have there a lighter, a small knife, whatever is going to be the minimum kit for survival, because survival might happen on a normal day. Earthquake happens every day. Maybe you get lost, your car breaks in the middle of a forest, you know, these kind of things.
So
and then
what should I have in this small
That's a
kit?
good question. That's a very good question. There is no consensus, of course. Again, it depends, because some people carry a very small bag, so you can't have lots of things inside. Some other people, like me, I always have a backpack. So in a backpack I can have many things. So I give you an example. Every day of my life since 10 years, I carry this.
Yes.
Maybe it's a little bit hard for you if you're going in the city, you know, because this is very bulky, all right? So you, sure. So this is first aid kit. Yeah, lots of things.
It's not heavy but bulky.
Yeah, you can make it a little less. So this is the minimum. You got gloves. So if somebody gets hurt, you first protect your hands so you can help people. Then you got this kind of band-aids, you know. You got survival blanket, because survival blanket is going to keep you from cold, keep you from sun heat. You got pins and needles. You got more bandages, stuff to clean your eyes if you get dust or some debris in your eyes. You got, I don't know you call this in English, sorry about this. This is to make cuts dry faster. You got thermometer to know your temperature. Bétadine, ou mercurochrome.
It's like,
yeah, like if you get bruises, yeah, disinfect and dry the wounds. You got thermometer to know how hot you are, and then you got painkiller, antihistaminic for allergies, you know, everything you need to take care of the small, and then, of course, more disinfectant, tape, you know, all the medical minimum that you need to carry with you, you know. But again, first of all is the skill. So you need to have the skills before you need to carry this, because if you do carry this, then you have to use it, you know. So that's one example. But I advise people who live in the city to have a EDC, so an everyday carry that contains at least 1 lighter, so you can start fire in every situation. 1 blade, because you need to cut something. So it might be scissors, it might be a small knife. Like mine is always in my pocket, you know, because that's how it works. If it's small, if it's light, then it's easy to carry. If you have a big knife, then makes the job a little bit tougher. And then I also advise people to carry some kind of cordage, which means paracord. This small rope, you know, because you can fix many things with ropes. This is very easy to open. It's like this. And then safety pins, like you've seen in this, and then cash, because very often survival is also going to be relying on other people, and if you got cash, you can buy services and help, all right? A taxi, whatever. So this is your really minimal everyday carry. There's a trick about this. You have to push there to close it. And then an option on your everyday carry, you can carry a multi-tool. Multi-tool would be same as a knife, like Swiss knife, Swiss Army knife, you know? So you got a blade, of course, but also a range of other small tools, like this guy, like pinches and screwdrivers, you know. So if you got this, then even urban situation, you can be ready for fixing an engine, fixing other tools, you know, this kind of thing. So this could be a good option in your everyday carry. A whistle, maybe, you know, so you can alert some other people. Maybe a notebook, so you can give pieces of messages, leave messages some places. I was there, I'm lost, I don't have food, please help me, I'm going to the next station or whatever, you know. So notebook would be very useful. A pen, of course. Tape is also a very practical one, because with duct tape you can fix your clothes, you can fix your equipment, so that's another good one. Or super glue. And then if you are in an environment where there is aggressive people, maybe pepper spray, you know, these kind of things. But then again, your everyday carry depends on what you want to be prepared for. Maybe you don't need a knife, maybe just a pair of scissors is going to be enough, you know, whatever. And then if you go in the wilderness, then it's another question, which we call it the bug out bag. Also Michael was talking about this morning. Bugging out means going out somewhere, finding a new location. So bug out bag maybe has more inside. Maybe you have a canteen, cooking pot. Maybe you have sleeping bag. Maybe you have a tarp or a tent, because you're going to be a few days outside. So you're exposed to the elements, which is different from everyday life, where most of the time it's going to be 2-3 hours before somebody helps you. So you don't need more than what you can carry. All right, other questions?
No.
All right. Okay, thanks. So now I'm going to give you a few scenarios, and you're going to choose one, and then we're going to play a little game about this scenario, right? So let's say, what scenario I'm going to give you? First one is going to be the game scenario, so it's Montana. So there's a lot of forest around, there is a lot of water, there is mountain, but also there is human activity, farms, gas station, these kind of things. And the danger comes from, of course, dying from the elements. You can die from cold, from thirst, from hunger, but also you can get attacked, all right? So this is your first scenario. Second one would be a flood, you know, flood? Yeah. So you need to survive 3 days after the water rises, so the context is going to be a little bit different. And third one, let's say, desert island. Your plane crashed, you swam to a beach, and now you realize this is a small island. So you pick one of these 3 scenarios, and I'm going to give you a little bit information about the situation. Second one. So it's a flood.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So flood is a hard one, because after flood, well, nothing is dry, so it's going to be very hard to make fire, all right? Also after flood, there is a very high chances of diseases, because the water is going to be infected by dirty water, all right? And then also, because everything is wet, you're going to have a hard time getting protection from the environment. It's maybe still raining, you know, so you're going to get cold, and because you're wet, also 25 times faster, you lose your body heat. So in survival, we say if you want to survive 3 days, you have to think about the 3 pillars of survival, which is fire, water, and shelter. All right. So within the 10 items you have to pick, remember these 3, because if you don't have these 3, you're not going to survive 3 days. Okay. Fire, water, and shelter. Okay. And then the rest is all going to be about how you get outside of this situation. Maybe you need to signal yourself. Maybe you need to communicate with other people. Maybe you have to defend yourself. So you have, let's say, 5 minutes for the first one. We give you 5 minutes. You look around, and you put 10 items in this bag, and then we're going to take them out and look together and see what's going to be really useful and what's not going to be useful. Ready for the 5 minutes?
Yes, this things that I can pick up is here, or
Yeah,
there are all
I
around?
think everything you need is in there,
Okay.
so it makes it easy for the image. 5 minutes?
Okay.
Good. Your time starts now.
Okay. So, fire, shelter, water. So, what is it? I don't know. Can you tell me what is it?
This is salt.
This is salt. No, maybe not. There's plenty of stuff here. Cards. It's for
This is,
diving.
fishing, yeah. Snorkeling,
Maybe
fishing. Yeah.
this one, if there's some water flood. For observing. And what is it?
This is a waterproof bag, so you can carry water inside. If you put water, this is a water bag. Also, you can put something else inside, and when you close it, it's waterproof. So
Okay,
that might be a
so
good
yes.
one for you.
Yes, thank you. 3. Bicarbonate alimenter. Universe.
Bicarbonate. This is to clean water. Also, you
Yes.
can clean your tools with it.
Bicarbonate for cleaning. It's rope. Yes. But I still don't have fire
Look around.
and shelter. No, it's
This is
not
toilet paper.
toilet paper. No, it's not so important. I can take it with me.
Yeah, first aid kit.
Okay.
That's a good choice. Canteen to boil water, to cook food.
I can take 10 pieces.
10
yes?
pieces, yeah.
Okay, some clean water, but
Combien il reste de temps?
Oula, on est sur 2 minutes 30.
Okay,
This is
you're
waterproof?
half time. This is a tent.
This is a tent.
Yeah, and this is a tarp.
I need something waterproof and fire. Still don't have it.
Cooking pot.
Okay.
Oop, that's a fire kit. So here inside this, you got lighter, matches, candles, everything
yes,
needed to
yes.
start fire.
This thing I was searching for.
Okay, let me put them in the bag for you.
Thank
So this,
you.
you're sure about these 3?
Yes, about
Waterproof bag.
this.
Snorkeling, that's 4,
This.
5, 6, 7,
And my shelter. Oh, my shelter.
8. And you got 2 more, but you got time. So maybe look around, you still got almost 2 minutes.
It will be cold, but it's.
So shelter, you got hammock, you got tent, you got tarp. You need to pick one of these 3 if you want to take. And also sleeping bag here. You got waterproof clothes.
Yes, waterproof clothing.
That's one of yours?
Yes.
Yeah? So only one more, and you got another 1 minute. So
Tent,
sleeping bag,
tent or
tent,
sleeping
tarp.
bag. I will take tent.
Tent?
Because
That's your item number 10?
yes.
Don't want to change? You think you're good with this?
No.
Yeah?
Yes, it was my guess. So.
All good? All right.
Yes.
Time off. So now let's have a look. So you pick the tent.
Yes.
Tent is not so bad because that's an already made shelter. You don't need to work. You put the tent off, put it down, and it's ready. But you need flat space
Yes.
and a place where there is no water, because if there is high water, then the water gonna come inside the tent.
Yes.
So you only can put the tent on the roof or
Yes.
on a high place. And after flood, many roofs and high places gonna be crowded.
Mhm.
So that's a good spot. That's a good one. But you could also have chosen hammock. Hammock in after flood and in very wet, extremely wet environment is also a very good one, because you only need 2 poles, like trees, and then you're always dry. All right. But the thing is, if it's still raining, you will need hammock and tarp to have the
Yes.
same advantage as this. All right.
Okay.
So either you pick these 2 or you pick this one, and that's a good base for shelter.
And
But
this one is
Tent.
It's
2
tent.
people.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can also
Okay.
host another 1 or 2 people, because 2 people for camping is 3, 4 for survival. Means you can stay close together, keep warm inside.
Keep warm,
Yeah,
or yes.
exactly.
Okay.
Snorkeling equipment, not so bad, but 2 things. The first one is, I told you you only need to survive 3 days before help comes, all right?
Yes.
Actually, food is not gonna be an issue. You're gonna get problems with the thirst, because you need water every day. Human body needs at least 3 liters of water when it's active. And also, you're gonna need fire and shelter. But food, actually, you can go without food for 3 weeks. So it's okay if for 1-2 days you don't eat, because your body can take the energy from your fat or your muscles. All right, so this is not a mandatory one for survival. But actually, since it's a flood, it's maybe not such a bad idea, because with this maybe you can dive and you can go under the water and find some things that are underwater. So that's also a good idea. Waterproof clothes, very good one, because it's still raining and you don't want to get cold. So that's also an extension of shelter, which means because hypothermia can hit you within 2-3 hours. With this, you're going to be protected from wind and from rain. So that's a good one for a flood situation. Why you pick this?
To observe.
Yeah?
I thought that it's always a good choice to know what's happening around you.
Yeah, true. In many survival situations, it's all about see and being seen. Because if you don't see who's coming to help you, then you cannot communicate with them, and if they don't see you. So maybe what's missing here is the other part of this. Maybe you
The
wanted to
whistle?
pick, yeah, a whistle. I think there is one here somewhere. Yeah, there is a whistle.
Yes.
Or maybe you want to pick mirror, because with mirror you can
reflecting the-
communicate with other people. But actually, with this also you can do this, because
Okay.
people will see reflection on a glass from very far, 2, 3, maybe 5 kilometers. Somebody can see this. So actually, if you see people, you can use the sun and this, and you play between these people and the sun, so they will see glass. You know, this is very unnatural kind of light in a natural environment. So that's not so bad one, because you can use it in multiple ways, and that's what survival is for. If one tool has 10 uses, then it means you don't have to carry 10 tools with just one, right? So that's a good choice. This is extremely good choice, because starting fire is extremely hard when it's wet. So after flood, everything's gonna be wet. So with this fire kit, the good thing is you got wax, you got dry pieces of cotton, so you're gonna manage to start fire. Then it's gonna be all about what kind of fuel you find. If you have dry wood, if some people put the wood on top of the houses, like they do in Tibet and some of the places like this, then you can make proper fire. If you don't have this, a lighter is not going to be enough after flood, because there is not enough gas to start to burn stuff. But with these candles, cotton, matches, I think you can survive. You can make fire and you can survive. Then you pick the canteen. Primal choice. This is one of the most important things, because after flood, as I was telling you, the water is going to be improper it's not drinkable. So you want to boil every water you find. Because very often in the cities, the sewers and the clean water are divided in normal circumstances. But when the flood comes, all the water comes out of the sewers and mixed with the clean water. So with this, you can make a filter. You were telling me about filter a little bit before. So you can make a filter to take out the big pathogens, the big particles that inside the water. And once your water is filtered, you put it in here, make your fire, boil it, and then it's proper. It's drinkable. So that's a very, very, very good choice. This is that the last time. Oh no, I need another two more. So actually, this one goes with this one, because bicarbonate contains very high, salts, minerals. So when you boil water,
Yes.
you take the minerals out, so it becomes a non-mineral water. All right. So it loses some of its properties because we drink to have the fluids, but we also drink to have the minerals inside our blood. So if you add this after you boil, then it makes it high mineral content. So it's very good for the body. It helps you fixate the water inside your blood and your. So that's a very good choice to get these two together. Same as these two. Okay, perfect. And then waterproof bag. Very, very good idea. You put your dry clothes, at least one. You always keep one dry cloth because you want to sleep dry. So inside the tent is dry. If you keep one t-shirt inside the dry bag, then nighttime you take off your wet clothes and then you put your dry clothes to sleep because you don't want to sleep wet. All right, so that's a very good choice. And also you could put this because this falls in the water, you never know, maybe a little crack inside, the water goes inside. So this and a set of clothes, very tight, very, very tight, and then you keep this with you. That's a very good choice. And then in every survival situation, you need to have this. Very often, people don't die from shark attack or falling from a building. They die from a very small cut, and they don't take care of it. And a small cut becomes septic, and septicemia comes after that. So within 2-3 days, you can die from blood infection. So when you have this, every day, morning time and evening time, you clean your little cuts, you clean your little burns, and then you can also take care of people around you. You can help them stay safe. So it goes with the skills, as I was saying. Very important to know your basics of first aid, and then you're probably going to survive with this. So I would say these two items were not absolutely necessary.
Yes.
They are good in that situation, but this that you've chosen, the 8 others, really were in the basics. Maybe instead of this, what would I have picked? I think I would have picked that, multi-tool. Because multi-tool, you got blades, you got scissors, you got pinches. With the pins you got here, maybe you can make fish hooks, you know, whatever. You're gonna turn some other equipment into tools, all right? So if you got multi-tools, there is no limit to what you can do. So Swiss Army knife or a multi-tool, that would be in my first aid. I wouldn't have put this. And then another good one. Did I see it? Here. That's another good one. A phone. Keep it turned off, but then when the network comes back, you can call. Maybe you went up on the mountain because you wanted a dry place to put your tent. Maybe you stayed on top of a house, but people, they don't necessarily know where you are. So if you have a phone, when the first day, 2 days, 3 days is taken care of, then communication is going to come back. Then you turn your phone on and you call for help. Right? So that's a very good one. Never go away with a phone that doesn't have battery. All right. And
this phone is keeping battery longer than the smartphone.
Yeah, the old one are better than the new one. That's for sure. And what else can I say? Oh, here you add another dry bag that was a little bit bigger, but this one is good enough also. Maybe a bottle can be a good choice too.
Yes.
Instead of this, because if you have metal bottle, same, you can boil water inside, but also it's a higher quantity. But that's same as you were picking. And another one I would have picked, I think, here. This. So I wouldn't have picked this. That's a good one, huh? I'm not saying you shouldn't have, but me, I would have picked this one because Aquatabs is water purifier. So this means 1 pill, 1 liter of clean water. So you don't have the whole process of filtering, boiling your water. So if you want to move to get out of a survival situation, that's very practical. And also because there is lots of them, there's 5 5 like this, and each of that is 10. So that means you got 50 liters of clean water inside. Very small, very light. You can keep it in your pocket, in your dry bag actually. And then you can give 50 liters of water. Yourself, you're gonna need at least 12 to survive 3 days, all right? So with this, you got 50, you can give clean water to other people you're gonna meet. So that's another good one. But globally, I give you 8 out of 10 for this one.
Oh, thank
Good job.
you.
On a
I
combien
would
de temps?
survive.
Là, il nous reste 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay.
Allez, allez.
So we can talk more if you have questions. We can discuss about this, or if you want, we can play another scenario.
I would like to ask if we don't have fuel
Yeah.
that is dry.
Yeah.
What should we use? It's like I don't know, cutting our hairs.
All right. Hair is good to start a fire because your hair is going to be dry because it's body heat that makes it dry. So you can actually indeed cut some pieces of hair to start the fire, but it's not going to last long. It's going to go poof, and then if you don't put some more fuel on top, it's going to go off very, very fast.
So if we don't have this kit for starting the fire, we could use our hair.
Yes,
for
if you have a
starting
lighter and hair, that's a good good fire starter. Cotton is better because it burns a little bit longer, but hair is good too. Yeah, it actually happened. Some people were in survival situation and talk about this. I was glad I had long hair so I could burn it. You can even make rope with your hair if it's very long. You can tie it like this, and then you can use it as paracord, like rope. So hair, and that's a good idea. In survival, you have to think about not only what you have, but what you have there. So maybe you can start a fire with a piece of T-shirt. You know, maybe you can make rope with one of your sleeves. You know, so you have to think like you're thinking out of the box.
Tu peux parler des chaussures aussi.
Yeah. Actually, same with your boots. Like if you have proper boots, you got long laces. You can make rope with it.
Yes.
And also, this is made of petrol. So if you want to make survival signal to tell people where you are, you cut a little piece of your boot and then you burn it because it's going to make black smoke. So if everything is in the water, and then helicopter flies over this, he sees light everywhere, and then he sees black smoke because you're burning a piece of plastic. And he's going to think, oh, somebody is signaling me. So if you want to be sure, you make 3 fires. And then in each fire, you put a little piece of plastic. And then anybody who knows how to fly plane or helicopter, they know about the survival signal. So if somebody sees 3 fires burning black, they will say, this person is definitely sending me a signal for help. So he's going to call, he's going to say, okay, there is somebody here, here's the GPS location, he gives the GPS location, and then help is going to come for you. So think about this. So to answer your question about fuel, this is another good one. If you're going in a place where there is nothing to burn, because the wood is wet or because it's snow only and no trees, then gas, all right? Because with this you can boil your water, you can cook your food, and you can also stay warm. This is the top of that. Sorry. It goes like this.
Oh.
All right?
Okay.
So it's a burner. And if you don't have this and the fuel is wet, well, you need to know that you can dry it with fire. So if you manage to at least start one, start small. First you put small sticks, very smaller than your finger, right? Small, small, small. Then it burns a bit more. And then you put bigger sticks and longer, and burns a bit more. But once you got a proper fire, we call it bonfire, like when it's like this size or this size, and it's been burning for more than 10 minutes, whatever you're gonna put inside is gonna burn. Even if the piece of wood was inside the water, inside it's still dry. Even what we call green wood, which means cut from the tree, is gonna burn because your fire is so hot that the heat of the fire is gonna turn this into fuel, all right? So don't worry too much about smoke, because actually smoke people will see, it's another good signal, you know? So of course you're gonna have smoke in your face, but it's gonna keep the bugs away. Mosquitoes are a very big problem after flood because there's lots of mosquitoes everywhere. So if you have smoke, mosquitoes go away. People will see, and then also big fire will dry your clothes, cook your food, boil your water, keep you warm, and also people can see you and they can join you around the fire. So fuel is not such a big issue after a flood, because if you manage to make a small fire, even with the help of burning a few clothes or some other thing like this, then after it turns into a proper bonfire, everything's gonna burn. So you could hunt, but it's not necessary, because survival is about getting out of a situation. So most of the time, you're gonna be in danger of dying within the first 3 days. So actually you don't need to eat at all because you can survive 3 days without food. But if you stay longer in a survival situation, then you might need to. If you need to, then protein is one of your 3 important carbs, fats and protein, all right? So you want to put a little bit of protein in your diet. Hunting is a good solution if you know how to hunt. If you're spending hours a day running after animals and trying to take them with a spear or hunting them with a bow and you don't know how, it's going to cost you a lot more energy than what you should be keeping staying at camp. So if you have to hunt, best would be to trap, because trapping is just a little energy to put the traps in the good spots, and then the game comes itself inside the trap, and then the next day you can enjoy the meat without having to spend that much energy.
How
But
to make this trap?
well,
The
there's lots,
easiest way.
there's lots of different kinds of traps. The easiest one would be with paracord. Did you take the paracord? Rope? I think you picked it in your items, no?
Paracord?
The rope? Did you take the rope?
rope.
Or you were hesitating to take the rope, you didn't take it, I'm not sure.
I don't know. Maybe it's in
Yeah.
the back.
Okay. Anyway, with rope, I'll tell you about. You did put it? No. It's okay. No worry. So with ropes, you can make easy knots, and then you hang them close to trees and plants, and then on the pathway of animals, and then the animals gonna run through and then just entangle themselves, you know. So like a hangman knot.
So you can show the.
I could, but the time is limited.
Okay.
So I'm sorry about this. But actually the best thing to do is get a proper survival training, because if you get one, you can use it in many situations possible. So if you do 2 day, 3 day survival training, then you get the tools to recognize the most common edible plants, how to make traps, how to purify, collect water, how to make proper shelter. If you don't have a tent, you can do a shelter with branches and stuff like this. So actually training is about developing the skills, and the skills gonna stay with you even if you didn't take your everyday carry, or even if you didn't take your bug-out bag. So that's my advice about survival. If you think you might be in a survival situation, prepare for it. Better safe than sorry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We don't have much time. Yes, more time.
No, I think we're done. Yeah. But we can keep in touch. Your contact here as my contact. So if you want to send me a mail, you know, you have proper questions, or if you want to subscribe to a training here in France or in Asia, also we do, then we can invite you to one of these. You can also come with a crew and you can film the training and
Yes.
everything. Sure.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a good day.